Okay, I just want to go quickly through davening tonight and tomorrow, and just practical dinim about lighting the menorah tonight, and the rest of Chanukah will continue with other things of Chanukah. Tonight, first of all, by Ma'ariv, there's no tachnun now through Chanukah. Tonight at Ma'ariv we say in the Shemona Esrei ala nisim, and if you're eating a meal with bread and you're benching, so then you say ala nisim in the benching. Now the din of ala nisim in davening, you say it in V'kulam Yisbarach V'Yisrael V'Yisnasei. No, V'chol HaChaim. Okay, so tonight's Ma'ariv. So after Kivinu Loch, before you say V'kulam Yisbarach V'Yisrael V'Yisnasei, you have to say ala nisim. Okay? What happens if you did not say it then? As long as you didn't say at the end of the bracha, Baruch Ato Hashem, Ato Shimcha L'chon No'aloides, if you didn't say Hashem's name, you go back to ala nisim. If you said Baruch Ato Hashem, you said Hashem's name, you continue davening and you do not repeat the Shemona Esrei. You don't repeat the Shemona Esrei for ala nisim. So again, you're supposed to say it right after Maiden before you say Val Kulam. If you said Val Kulam, doesn't matter. You say it anytime in the bracha, you say ala nisim and then continue the bracha Val Kulam. If you said at the end of the bracha, you said Baruch Ato Hashem, then you say ala nisim. Once you say Hashem's name, that's it. You just finish the bracha and you continue davening. In benching, if you forgot ala nisim and you finished the bracha already, you don't go back, except in Birchat Hamazon, before you say Arachman Hu Yizakenu Limeisa Mashiach, before you, all the way at the end of the bench, before you say Arachman Hu Yizakenu, then what you say Arachman Hu Asal Nalonu Nisim Kamei Sha'asal Aviseinu Bayom Mahem Bizman Hazeh, and you say Bimei Matas Yo then. Right before Rachman Hu Yizakenu. You say Rachman Yasal Lonu Nisim Kamei Sha'asal Aviseinu Bayom Mahem Bizman Hazeh, and you say Bimei Matas Yo. That's as far as Ma'ariv tonight. So Ma'ariv you just have to add ala nisim. Tomorrow morning Shachris is as follows. There's no tachnun. It's a regular Shachris through Shemona Esrei except ala nisim. After the repetition of Shemona Esrei, you say complete Hallel. Okay? An Avel who's in mourning davens for the Yomid and Chanukah, but not for Hallel. That means he finishes the repetition of Shemona Esrei. He does not say Hallel for the Yomid. Somebody else goes and says Hallel for the Yomid. After you finish Hallel, it's not Rosh Chodesh, don't forget. So after Hallel, the Chazan says half Kaddish, then you have Torah reading. So in other words, basically the only difference is instead of Tachnun, we're saying complete Hallel. But you leave the tefillin on for Hallel. It's just for Musaf, there's no Musaf and Chanukah or Purim. Because it's not biblical, there's no korban, for a special korban. So we wear tefillin for Hallel, the Chazan doesn't go over, but the half Kaddish after Hallel, the Chazan says. The original Chazan says, because that's going on the Amidah, that's going on the Shemona Esrei. So again, you have a regular davening, after repetition of Shemona Esrei, instead of Tachnun, you say complete Hallel. After Hallel, you say half Kaddish, Torah reading of Chanukah. Tomorrow you start V'yi B'yem Kaleis Meishel Okem Samishkan. After you have Kaddish, that's a regular Torah, 3 people, except Chanukah. You do half Kaddish, Hagba, you say Asher Valotzion, you bring the Sefer Torah back, and you say Beis Yaakov, there's no Tachnun. It's a regular davening basically, except instead of Tachnun you say Hallel. And the Chazan doesn't daven for the Yomid, Hallel, but everything else he does daven. Because our custom is only the day when there's Musaf, then the Chazan doesn't daven for the Yomid. But any day that there's no Musaf, like Chanukah, Purim, they daven for the Yomid, except Hallel, somebody else goes over and says. That's as far as the davening basically for the rest of Chol Hamoed. For the rest of Chanukah. Okay? As far as tonight lighting the menorah, after you go home tonight, you have to light the menorah right away. You're not allowed to eat. You can have a little snack, but you're not allowed to do anything until you light the menorah. The menorah, as we were discussing, you light it in the window. Our custom is to light it in the doorway, on the other side of the mezuzah. Unless if there's no mezuzah, then you light it on the right side of the doorway. The candles have to burn at least a half an hour. That's the minimum halacha after nightfall. So by the time you get home after Ma'ariv, it's going to be nightfall, you light candles, you have to burn at least a half an hour. Chabad custom is you try to have them burning at least 50 minutes. But halacha is half an hour the candles have to burn. While the candles are burning, the custom is women don't do work except household things they could do. They could cook according to most opinions and do things like that. It's also a custom, which is our minhag, was brought down in halacha also, that you should wait by the licht, you should wait by the candles for half an hour, watching the candles. As the previous Rebbe used to say, you should listen to the story the candles are telling. You should listen to the story the candles are telling. There's the spiritual story of Chanukah. I mention this every year. There was a guy in the show years ago, he passed away, Nebuch already. Brooks Arthur. He once heard this class, and he was a movie producer, a music producer. So he liked it so much, he went home and he composed a song. The name of the song was "Listen to the Story the Chanukah Candles Are Telling." And he had a whole song. It was produced based on what the previous Rebbe said. You have to listen to what the story that the candles are telling. You're supposed there's a lot of minhagim and Chanukah. You're supposed to give Chanukah geld to your kids, or to your spouses if you want. Again, that's basically now the menorah al-chatchila should be the flame of the. Somebody asked me about this today. In fact, the flame of the menorah should be between 3 tfachim and 10 tfachim, which. What did I write over there? 9.5 inches. 9. Between 9.5 to 31.5 inches high. But that's the flame. What happens if you have a very big menorah, like for this menorah, you have an issue. But if you have it doesn't matter. Bais Din, it's still kosher as long as it's less than 20 amas high. From the floor from the floor where the menorah was lit. So you have to make sure the candles are burning, make sure obviously you're safe with it. There's really an argument in halacha, we have a few minutes. There's an argument in halacha when you're supposed to light the menorah. Because in Chanukah it says it's shkia, it's sundown. But in halacha there's two parts of sundown. There's the beginning of shkia and the end of Shkia. The beginning of sundown, the end of sundown. So the whole machlekes in halacha, some people say the beginning of sunset is sunset. The end of sunset is nightfall. So some opinions in halacha say you're supposed to light the menorah after nightfall. Other opinions say no, it's preferred to light it at sundown. But then again, you need to make sure you have enough oil or candle that it should burn a half an hour after nightfall. What?
Do you have the same stuff that every other time Kohanah uses the word shkia, or is it special here?
More so here, but in other places also. There's a lot of other dinim. But yeah, so, but.
By Rav saying that the sundown, we mean sunset? Like, go to the beach?
Normally in English, sunset and sundown is the same time. If you want to be technical in halacha, you have different concepts of what is sunset. When is it? It depends really. if you have, like we mentioned the other day, if you have mountains around you, sunset's going to be earlier. If you don't have some mountains around you, it might be a few minutes earlier. So it depends where you are actually. And then also there's a big argument in halacha is it's what's called shkia amitis, the real shkia, or shkia aniris, what it looks like, when it looks like sundown, or when it actually is sundown. So you have all these various things in halacha that could matter in technical things when you're playing around with minutes, when you could do things or when you can't do things, and b'diavad l'chatchila. But generally speaking, but you have an issue like this. Once the time for Ma'ariv comes, then halachically you have to daven Ma'ariv first, before candle lighting. Why? Two reasons. First of all, there's a rule, Tada v'sheina, Tada kedem, like we learn, more common, less common, the more common thing comes first. Ma'ariv is every night of the year. Chanukah is 8 days a year. So if you have a choice, Chanukah or Ma'ariv, now what do I do? So what do you do? So halacha says the more common thing goes first. That's number one. Secondly, poskim write that Ma'ariv has Shema in it. Shema is a biblical mitzvah, to say Shema at the night, b'shach b'chav kamech, in the morning and at night. So Shema is a biblical mitzvah. Chanukah is a rabbinic mitzvah. So therefore, once time for Ma'ariv comes, halachically you have to daven Ma'ariv first. You can light candles also a whole night, as long as people are up. What? Why is B'dikas Chametz different? The Alter Rebbe says in Kuntas Sachon, Hilchos Pesach, because B'dikas Chametz mitzvah veres. It has to be done la'er aner or la'ba'aseh when it's still a little bit of light. But the Alter Rebbe talks about that in that Kuntas Sachon. He says l'cheira Ma'ariv should come first by B'dikas Chametz. He explains why not. But everything else, if Ma'ariv comes, you have to do Ma'ariv first, and then you could do and Chanukah candles later. Now, one more thing. What happens if somebody comes home very late? You were away, you came home very late, and everybody's sleeping. So the din is you have to wake up some of them at least to be able to make a bracha. But what happens if you live alone and you always light alone? So who are you going to wake up? So it doesn't matter. Then you have to do it yourself anytime you come home. What? Midrabanan.
What was the question?
If B'dikas Chametz midrabanan min ha-Torah. I mean, officially it's midrabanan, because bittul is min ha-Torah. But we're not learning Pesach now, so let's leave it at that. That's it. But again, the main thing is you have to light candles as soon as you come home. No eating, no nothing. You light the candles, wait around half an hour by the candles, and then you listen to the stories.